Pros and cons. We have a con gone wrong. One team member double crossing the others. And, they're trying to force this traitor, as they see them, to reveal the location of the stolen loot. And it just felt very much like a power struggle. Everyone wants to be in charge, um, and feeling like who should be the leader and who deserves that role. Great dialogue is one thing that I will say. Great writing. I did love the back and forth between the two who clearly had the most relationship. Um, it really set everything up. I was very shocked that he didn't get away. It almost felt like it would have been the perfect ending, but then it adds to it because it was never really about the money. It's really about coming to terms with losing her partner and realizing that there are more things that are more important than money, and this relationship was one of them. So even in the end, where it's like, we don't need the money, we can make more. This was really never about the money. This was really about the people that I'm doing it with. And it's like, inevitably, I feel like she will become a better leader because she finally has this realization. But unfortunately, she had to lose her partner to get the realization.
Pros and Cons was a very interesting mob drama. Uh, we have these old partners in crime, and first off, I also want to address the title of Pros and Cons. It definitely has a double entendre meaning, especially because they're con men. Uh, it built itself on this foundation of trust where these people had a past relationship and they're not sure if they can trust each other, which unfortunately leads to one of their deaths. And I feel like it definitely encapsulates that mob gangster feeling pretty well. And the more you learn about the situation, the more the tension rises because certain information. Our protagonist knows the information, but the two guys trying to kill the hostage both have tunnel vision and don't know this information, so it raises the stakes more and more and more. And all in all, I had a good time watching this one.
All right, pros and cons. So this one, I thought just right off the bat, the title here, I thought was a very cool double meaning, very clever. But the performances here from the entire cast, especially the lead, but really from everybody, were all very good, very convincing, and made the film very entertaining to watch. Cinematography here is also something I really enjoyed. The film makes good use of these kind of tight indoor spaces, and then contrasting them later with these much bigger, much more open outdoor ones, like the rooftop scene at the end. The pacing here was very good. Things are very lively, very exciting for the entire film, and the ending feels very satisfying and low key compared to the rest of the film, but I think appropriately so, given that the build up to it is so intense, and then things kind of mellow out and resolve nicely at the end. So I really enjoyed this one.
Very cool. I always like seeing a good noir. You don't get to see it that often. So, yeah, people don't make these kind of films as much anymore. But yeah, no, very cool. Really liked it, and it was taking kind of the conventions of kind of the con game and kind of turning it on its head. I love that we had this an awesome female lead, and rather than the woman being the one causing the trouble as the femme fatale, she was the brains of the operation. So that was a really cool reversal. I like seeing that a lot. And yeah, just a great job. I love the way this was all kind of planned out, the character dynamics and just how everything goes, the twists, and it's very cool. The actors all did a good job. It all had a really cool, slick style, nice editing, good script, well directed, good use of score, great performances from the actors. So yeah, excellent work all around. I'd love to see this grow into a feature. I wonder if that's on the docket, if you'll be able to do that. But in any case, this piece you have right here is really terrific. So good job with this, and I hope it does well for you.
I want to say for pros and cons, I want to commend you for creating a noir where the female is like the lead and the head of the operation. You know, people don't really make a lot of noir these days, and not a lot of people make noir where film noir where the woman is in charge and like the smart one and like does all the stuff like very clearly and isn't simply like a smoky, sexy, romantic character. So I really want to commend you for that. I think that's really interesting, and it creates a really compelling character in this piece, and it pushes it forward in a way that's really fresh and new. I think the pacing of this was really good. I think stylistically, with film noir, you have to rely on lighting more because you don't really have all that color contrast to make up for a scene, and you have to create these different layers of grayscale to really highlight and focus on the actors and you know, these main characters in each scene and object work and stuff like that. So I want to commend you for that as well. Yeah, a really interesting, thrilling piece. Really well thought out. It made a lot of sense. I think the pacing was great. The actors were great. And really compelling. I hope more people make pieces like this because it was really fun to watch.
It's an interesting storyline in Pros and Cons about the different levels you'll go to protect your con. It's also an interesting concept that Alice actually grows a conscience in the end. My only criticism is that the makeup looked fake. The blood should have been flowing. But it was an interesting film because it goes through an amazing character development to see what's right and what's wrong, even amongst criminals, which made it brilliantly constructed within the story to be able to tell it where you understand at first you think they're beating up an innocent guy and it turns out they're beating up one of theirs that turned against them. That's an interesting twist that wasn't expected.
These reviews for pros and cons. This movie had a great combination of drama, emotional distress, and a good old con story. The characters are so well described even in this short time. You can sense their personalities and how they are reacting to these interactions. Performers do an excellent job at portraying and exploiting this story. I like their setting, and I found the story quite original. Even the intermediate stories of friendship and romance, it was just lovely. I really enjoyed it.